Awesome. All right.
Alrighty,
Well,
the floor is yours.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, allowing me to attend today and come and talk to you about transfer. My name is Brittany Lundeen. I'm one of the Transfer Center counselors and also help to coordinate the Transfer Center itself that we have here at Cerritos College. Just so you know where we're located in the administration building in that quad area. So we're kind of catty corner to financial aid, or the other side is counseling and admissions. So you definitely can find us. We're over by the vending machines, if that helps point us out for you. But we are here throughout the week to assist you on any of your transfer questions, the different services and workshops and applications to the university. So I'm not sure if you all want to just do it as a questions and answers, and I will answer anything that you come up with, or if you want me to kind of do an overview of transfer requirements for Cal States or UCs. Does anyone have a preference or have specific questions that you want to make sure get asked?
I think maybe a brief overview, and then maybe after that we can ask our questions.
Sure. Okay, so let me bring, hang on a second. It's letting me share, which is always a good thing. Let me open up the PowerPoint. I'll just point out a couple of things that I like to kind of put out there for everybody. But I'll jump around a little bit, so I won't do the full presentation. Okay, so I'll leave it like in this format rather than a full like PowerPoint, because this way I can jump slides if I want to, based on what your questions are. I think one of the most important things that I put out there when it comes to presenting or talking about transfer is really this idea that you can start here at Cerritos and go anywhere you want to go. There's a lot of people out there in the world who may put limitations on you, but you shouldn't be one of those people who's putting a limit on yourself. So, you know, think more about what would your dream school be. Think about what schools are going to have the best program for your major. Don't worry as much about how you're going to pay for it or whether you can get in yet. Those things will come about eventually. But a lot of times students don't realize that there's a lot of help out there to help you pay for your education. So for example, with the Cal State universities, we have 23 of those in the area. They're about $7,000 per year, but if you're getting financial aid covers the majority, if not all, of your tuition when it comes to the Cal State universities. When you go to the UC campuses like UCLA or UC Irvine, something to kind of keep in mind is they have something called the Blue and Gold Opportunity Program. And that says basically if your family makes $80,000 or less, then they will cover the cost of tuition. So you can go to a UC campus for free. And a lot of students don't realize that's out there. And if your family happens to make more than $80,000, but less than $191,000, they have a middle class scholarship also available to help you cover the cost of your tuition. So there's lots of availability and lots of help financially. So I don't want you to not choose a school because you think you can't afford to go there. Same thing for the private schools. Schools like USC give away millions and millions of dollars in scholarships. Specifically, a lot of our students who go to a school like USC actually only end up paying like maybe $5,000, if that, in order to attend, where normally it's like $72,000 to go there. So immediately students are like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to talk about them because I can't afford $72,000. There's not many people who can. So they know that, and they're going to ask you to fill out the financial aid. And then based on that, they're going to determine you have more need, and they're going to help you cover the cost of your education. So I think, again, this idea of not having limits, of thinking outside the box, of really considering what school is going to be the best school for you, rather than some of those other things that are out there that you think, you know, make that decision for you. When you're looking at your education here at Cerritos, one of the things that you're looking for is you're completing your freshman and sophomore level courses here at Cerritos. When you're done with those freshman and sophomore levels, if you'd like to, you can get an associate's degree. We do have a transfer associate's degree in sociology, and we have it in lots of other majors as well. We also have our traditional associate's degree. A lot of the time, the classes you're taking for transfer are the same kinds of classes that you need for your associate's degree. So that is something that you can get on your way to the university. It is not required, but it's definitely an option, something that you can do and say, hey, I was at Cerritos College. Look what I finished while I was at Cerritos College. Now I'm going to continue to the university. And then when you continue, you're just going to have to finish your junior and your senior level courses in order to get your bachelor's degree. So you're not going to have to start all over again. All the classes that you're taking from Cerritos College will transfer over with you to the university so that you've already completed the first half of your degree here at Cerritos. And all you have to worry about is completing the second half of your degree. And then from there, if you decide to go on for your master's or your doctorate, or you want to go on to professional schools like medical schools or dental schools or law school, pharmacy school, etc., all of those are options because you've got that bachelor's degree. So it's a great jumping off spot. And again, what you're doing here at Cerritos is taking care of the first half of those requirements for that degree. I'm going to go over here. So while you're here at Cerritos for those freshman, sophomore level courses, the pieces that you're looking at, and this is probably something you've heard in your orientations, are your general education, your major, and your electives. Okay, so our first things to get into your schedule is your general education, your major. And if we have space, if we have a need to come up with more units to meet the requirements for admissions, then we're going to bring in some electives. And I will say, if you're a sociology major, usually you're going to need a couple of elective classes in order to reach your units. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind because there's a lot of overlap between some of your sociology classes and some of your general classes. There's going to be space for those possible elective classes in there. And electives can be anything you want to take, as long as they're transferable a 100 level class, then they are good to go for the purposes of meeting elective requirements. Okay. When you're looking at your major, a great website to go to is assist.org. If you go, I won't go into as much detail on it right now, but if you want me to do that as one of your questions, I definitely can. The Assist website does allow you to look at the classes that you can take here at Cerritos and how they match up with the university in the Cal State and UC systems. So that's an amazing option and a definite path to figuring out what your major prep is for the university. For the Cal States have this as their minimum requirements. So in order to consider any California State University, you must have completed 60 CSU transferable units. About half of those have to come from general education. A lot of your classes, whether they're part of your major or part of your general ed, still count as general education courses. So hitting that 30 units of general education is usually not an issue. But we need 60 units total that are going to transfer. With that 60 units, we need a minimum GPA of a 2.0. Now that does work for some schools if they're a growth campus, but if they are a more competitive campus like Long Beach, Fullerton, Cal State LA, then you definitely want above a 2.0. I would recommend like closer to a 3.0 or higher to be considered for some of those more competitive schools in the Cal State system. Also within those units, you're looking at making sure you complete your English 100, your transfer level math, which most likely would be statistics, your critical thinking class, and your communication course. So those are what we call the golden four, and those are built into the minimum requirements for admissions to the university. Okay, so this is what they're looking for CSU requirements. Now for the UC campuses, in case some of you are looking at those UCs, and I hope you are, you also need 60 units, but those are 60 UC transferable units and minimum GPA of a 2.4. Again, the minimum to be considered, but we want to have competitiveness. We want to be in that 3.0 and higher range. And then they have a 7-course pattern instead of the golden 4. So 7 courses would include 2 English, which is your English 100 and your critical thinking class, a transfer level math course, and then 4 extra courses that can be pulled from your general education. And that is the UC minimum requirements. Now, what's cool about the UCs is that beyond this, beyond just the classes you're taking and just the GPAs that you have, the UCs also take into consideration things like, are you part of any special programs or honor societies? Are you involved in clubs like the sociology club that's connected to your major? Are you in extracurricular activities or community services? Do you have special life circumstances that you want the university to know about? Have you had to work full time to help support your family while going to school? Because that might have impacted your GPA and why you're not as involved on campus. Are you a single parent who's coming back to college? I mean, there's all sorts of different things that can be brought forward as part of this supplemental criteria for the purposes of the UC campuses. And so they take this into consideration as well as your GPA, the classes you've completed, and your units. So those are some of the basics of things. I do want to put out there that the private schools are also a possibility. There's a lot of private schools in California. We have 70 plus universities in California that are private institutions. They offer a lot of availability of options of bachelor's, master's, doctorates, professional degrees, etc. They actually allow you to transfer as a sophomore if you'd like to, with only 30 units. GPAs will vary, but at least a 2.0 GPA. And they are kind of a combination, I think, between the Cal States and the UCs, because the Cal State's just looking primarily at the transcripts, which the private schools will do, but they're also going to take into consideration those other things that impact your life, like your personal experiences, working activities, being involved on campus. All that's going to play into your private and out-of-state schools admissions process. So lots of possibilities for Cal States, UCs, and private schools. And you actually will find different schools have different things. Like University of Laverne has a way to help you pay for your education. They say if you have a 3.22 GPA, that you get an automatic $21,000 towards your tuition. And as long as you maintain that GPA, they maintain that scholarship for you based on your GPA. So there's a lot of different ways to, again, think about those private schools that you might not have thought about otherwise because you thought, oh, they're too expensive, but really are there, and they are an option for you if you want to apply and see what happens. We do have some transfer admissions guarantees. And I just want you to know that these exist. A lot of students don't always know about these ahead of time, but you can actually guarantee your spot about a year in advance to the university. So for the UC campuses, there's 6 of the UC campuses that offer guarantees. Davis requires a 3.2. Irvine requires a 3.4. Merced requires between a 2.7 and a 3.2. Riverside between a 2.7 to a 3.2. Santa Barbara 3.4, and then Santa Cruz is a 3.0. And so with those GPAs, making sure we get your English and math done early and getting some of your major prep classes in there, you can guarantee your spot at these institutions. And once you're in these institutions, some of them even have guarantees for housing once you get in. So that's a pretty cool option. For in-state private schools that we have guarantees for, Loyola Marymount, which is over by LAX, has a guarantee with a 3.25 GPA. Laverne has a guarantee with a 2.7. Whittier College has a guarantee with a 2.8. So again, these are all very doable and give you another option, an opportunity when it comes to the universities. And out of state, Arizona State University in Northern Arizona, you can guarantee with a 2.5. The historically Black colleges and universities, the HBCUs, require between a 2.0 and a 2.5. And the Western Oregon University allows you to guarantee your spot with a 2.25. So again, amazing options to consider in a lot of different directions if you keep the possibilities open for you. I'm not sure how many of you are transferring yet, so I'll hold on the transfer timeline unless you tell me you want it. But we have a ton of different services that are available through the Transfer Center. We're going to have an annual transfer conference. We usually do it in the fall, but we're going to push it to the spring this year. So you can keep an eye out for our transfer conference. We have both virtual and in-person counseling appointments that you can come and see one of our Transfer Center counselors to specifically talk about where you want to go and develop a plan that keeps your options open and tells you exactly what you need to either guarantee your spot through that tag or just know that these are the classes you have left to finish. We have university representatives who come to campus, but are also available virtually to meet with you. We have university fairs, campus tours. We're working on bringing these back. We're hoping to have one coming up on November 4th for UC Irvine. That'll be our first one this semester, back since the pandemic. We also have a ton of workshops available, as well as a transfer academy. And the transfer academy is open to any student who would like to connect to the transfer center at any point. So if you're in your last year, you can be part of the transfer academy. If you're in your first semester, you can be part of our transfer academy. And the only requirement for the transfer academy is that you have a goal of transferring. And then we have a series of different kinds of workshops you can participate in, different events that you can come to. If we hear about programs that are happening at the university, we send that out to you so that you know about it. If there's scholarships, we send those out so that you know about it. So the Transfer Academy is another option of service that we offer through the Transfer Center. And just to kind of put this out here for our contact, you can always go to our website, cerritos.edu/transfer. We have an Instagram account, which is Cerritos Transfer Center, if you'd like to follow us there. I'm currently the person behind that Instagram account. So if you have quick questions, you can direct message me through the Instagram account, and I will do my best to answer them. If it's a little bit more intense, then I'll say we need to make an appointment. But I do try to answer as much as possible if I can through Instagram. And of course, you can also email us at transfercenter@cerritos.edu. And I know that was a really brief overview, but I just wanted to make sure I gave you guys plenty of time to ask questions about transfer at any point. If you want the transfer timeline, I can go through that. If you want to talk about the Transfer Academy, I can do that. Or if you just want to throw out a question, I will do my best to answer any questions that you have related to transfer.
We do have one student who's transferring to Cal State Long Beach in January, so that transfer timeline would be helpful.
Yeah, no, for the as in this coming January, coming up?
Yes, I believe so. It's Nakia, if you want to share about your experience.
Yes, I just found out about a week ago. So I'm still getting them my official transcripts and everything, but if you have any basic information, thank you.
Yeah, excuse me. When it comes to the spring transfer, it's kind of unique because you apply in August, you get admitted sometime in October, which congratulations. It sounds like you've got that admissions letter, which is awesome. So the next steps are sending them your transcripts. And then you have to say yes. So the universities, they don't assume that you're going to go there if you get admitted because they know students will apply to multiple schools. So one of the things to kind of keep in mind is that you would have to say yes by a specific date. I believe it's December 1st, but double check your emails. So you can say yes. And is that right?
Yes, I think it was November 15th or 30th, but
okay, so they might have been changing that date because they're giving you your answer early. So pay attention to those deadlines. That is really, really important. And they email you those deadlines. So once you submit your application, make sure that you're looking at those. Did you find it? That's okay. But just in general, look at those transcripts, or your emails for information. When you say yes to a university, you have to put a deposit down. Okay. The deposit's usually about $150.
Yes, it's $150 by November 15th.
Ah, perfect. Thank you. So you have to put the money down for deposit, and that's every school. So whether you're transferring to Long Beach in the spring or you're looking at a future semester, when you say yes to the university, they want to know that you're committed. And so they're going to ask you to actually provide them with a deposit. That deposit will eventually be used towards your tuition for your first semester. If your financial aid is in and you qualify for financial aid, they may waive that deposit, but you won't know until you get to that point.
Okay, thank you.
And then when you sign up for the enrollment deposit, the next step is going to be to apply for an orientation date. My recommendation for orientation is to find the earliest possible orientation date.
Okay.
Okay, because on the day of your orientation is usually the day that you're going to register for your classes.
Okay, good. That's where I was confused on where to go. So that's what I need to do is sign up so I can get the orientation date, and then I'll be able to pick classes.
Exactly. So at the orientation, they'll have advisors available for you to help you figure out what you need to do next. and what classes that you should be signing up for. So it's always great. And majority of schools will mandate that you go to orientation. But if you can go to an earlier orientation instead of a later one, that gives you better access to some of the classes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the orientation does cost money, and they doesn't usually get covered by financial aid. So gonna be prepared for that too.
Okay, thanks.
I can't remember for Long Beach how much it costs, but usually it's somewhere between $60 and $80.
Okay, that's better than the 150.
Yes, yes, for sure. And then once you have your orientation, you sign up for your classes, and then in which case you're just all set and ready to get started at the university in January, the end of January.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have anybody in the group who's looking at applying right now for next year for transferring in the fall of 2023?
Me.
I am.
I think I spoke with you. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
UCI about their math admissions requirement.
Yes.
I wanted to know, is the UC tag, like, when will they get back to us about our admission results? Would it be the same time as regular UCs?
Good question. So some of the UCs, depending on if they're one of the UCs that kind of pre-review everything, which UC Irvine is not, then they would actually let you know that you've been admitted sometime between November 1st and November 15th. For Irvine, what they do is sometime between November 1st and November 15th, you'll get an email that says, hey, we've got your tag. We processed it. As long as you're meeting the requirements for UC Irvine, you're guaranteed your spot. And then you're actually going to get your admissions letters later, probably in March.
Okay, so it's kind of just like them saying we have, like, you're in the
You're-
process of getting admitted, but if something, let's say my GPA falls significantly, they can withdraw it, right?
Absolutely. Yep. That is a really important step, because not only do we want to kind of say this is where I'm at currently, but we want to maintain that so that when we get to the university, you know, they won't take things back. You're always going to be conditionally admitted. And the condition is that they're going to send you're going to send transcripts, and they have to verify that what you said on your application is what actually is on your transcripts. If that doesn't match up, or if you have a really bad last semester and bomb everything, then it is possible for them to take back that admissions, because you're conditionally admitted based on the fact that you're going to finish the requirements as you stated in the application.
And then for the transcripts, when are we supposed to send them by? Because when I submitted my applications, I did put down like all the classes I was taking, the ones in progress, planned and stuff. But do I have to send like an additional piece of evidence after I'm done with those classes about my GPA and stuff?
That's a great question. So let's go through this timeline for those of you who maybe are looking at the application process for the fall semester. Right now, we're in this time period here of October, November. Both the Cal States and the UC applications are going to be due during this month of October, November. You have until November 30th to submit the application itself. One of the things that you want to keep in mind is when you're applying to the university, you should be also applying for financial aid. So right now, that financial aid needs to be in place. And Nakia, since you're planning to transfer in spring, you should make sure this year's financial aid includes Cal State Long Beach.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So you need to go back in and edit that. So for those of you going for fall of next year, the financial aid application opened up on October 1st. You want to go ahead and go in there. You want to update your information, but you also want to add in every school you're applying to. You don't want to wait until you've already been admitted to add to financial aid. You want to do it as soon as possible. So you can put up to 10 schools on your FAFSA application. That way, when you get your admissions letters, you will hopefully also get your financial aid packages. And you'll be able to make a better decision as to where you want to go next, because you'll know how much they're going to help you cover. So this is kind of what's happening right now. The tags was for the UCs was done in September. But the CSU and UC applications are done in October, November, and then the financial aid application opens up in October. Next semester, you are, if you happen to want to look at private schools, you can apply to the private school starting in December and beyond. But in January, the universities are going to ask you for updates. Both the Cal States and the UCs are going to ask you and say, hey, you've submitted all of this coursework on your application. You've told us this is what you're taking and what you plan to take. Now let us know, what did you get for your grades for your fall, so we can consider that for your admissions. And if your classes have changed for spring, what classes are you really taking for the spring term? So that's their update. Some schools won't have an update in the CSUs, and some will ask you for a transcripts at this point. Okay, starting in January, February time.
Okay, so that's kind of when you show your fall transcript.
Right, they're going to want to see your fall grades. So you're not going to want to send your transcripts soon. You want to send it after the fall is over, but only to those schools that are requesting it.
And how will they check the spring ones?
They're going to ask you for your final
Okay.
transcripts in July.
Okay.
After your spring classes are over, just to verify that what you said you were going to do is actually done.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll come through. But this is only for CSUs that are asking for transcripts at this point, like January, February time. UCs actually have it set up where they won't ask until you've already been admitted.
Oh, for the transcript?
Yeah, they won't ask you for your transcripts until you've already been admitted. So they're basically doing everything based on your application. All your admissions for both, most of the, there's all the UCs and most of the Cal States is based on what you put in your application. And then once you've been admitted, they're going to say, hey, now I need your proof. And so send us your transcripts and they'll verify that what you said in your application is matching up to what your transcript says.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good.
Okay. Most of the decisions from the universities will come out in February, March, and April. Some of the Cal States will do it as early as February. Most of them will do it in March. And for the UCs, most of them will come out in April.
Okay.
And then you have to make a final decision as to where you're going. For the Cal States, they have a deadline of May 1st with a enrollment deposit.
Mhm.
The UCs have a deadline of June 1st with an enrollment deposit.
Okay.
So this is kind of what you're looking for. It is fully like almost a full year process to kind of get through this whole path, of applying, financial aid, updates, sending transcripts, saying yes, and then moving forward. It does take almost a full year, academic year anyways.
Okay.
Okay. And the transfer center is here all the way through. So if you need help with the application, we have workshops. We have one-on-one sessions where we can review your application before you submit it. So that's available. In January, we'll have workshops to help you do the update if you have questions about the update. We have in-person and virtual sessions available, so whatever works best for you, as well as general application for those of you who are not quite ready to transfer yet, but still want to know about transfer. We have those workshops as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have more questions, but does anybody else have questions that you would like to ask?
I was wondering if you could give us more information on the blue and gold opportunity. Like if there are any other requirements other than the 80K, under 80K.
Good question. No, well, the main thing is that you have to apply for financial aid. So you have to apply for financial aid by March 2nd, which is the deadline for it. Other than that, if you apply for financial aid, you will automatically be offered the blue and gold if your family makes $80,000 or less. And that's pretty much all there is connected to it. So just the key part of that is to apply for financial aid, making sure you have the universities on there, making sure that it's done by March 2nd. And as long as you have those pieces, then they will automatically add a university grant to help cover the cost of your tuition if you have less than $80,000.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and it's an amazing opportunity that a lot of people don't realize is there. And they automatically say, well, I'm not going to go to UCs, it's too expensive. But you can go for free if you're part of this blue and gold opportunity.
Okay, anybody else?
I'm sure there'll come up some more questions. Why don't you ask another one?
Yeah, I didn't want to hug, but do you have any success stories about transfer students, about their experiences, their admissions, the whole process?
Well, we definitely have students who transfer every year for all different areas. So we have students who go up and down the state when it comes to the UCs. We have students at a lot of the Cal States. But we do have primarily, our biggest grouping of students for Cal States will go to Long Beach, Fullerton, and Dominguez Hills. Our biggest group for the UCs will go to UCLA and UC Irvine. We do have a pretty good bunch of students who go to UC Berkeley. And we know we've had students go all over the place. Last year, we had students who went to Yale. We've had students who've gone to Stanford. We have students go in a lot of different directions, which is really awesome. And I think the pieces of it are, it's just applying. A lot of times what you're doing for the universities, whether it's the UCs or Cal States, also a lot of times prepares you for these other schools and other institutions. And if you take advantage of the transfer center counselors for the purposes of reading personal statements, our students do really well when they get there. I will say that, for the UCs, they say that the students at the community college who transfer to the university do as well, if not better than those students who started at the university. And 2/3 of all students who graduate from Cal States started at a community college. So we know the majority of our students who are moving forward are finishing their requirements at the university, whether it's a Cal State or UC, they're doing well. We know that you're going to be totally prepared. The classes that you're taking, these are college classes. These are not, junior level classes or whatever. These are the classes that you need. They're going to give you a great foundation so that when you get to the university, you're prepared to move forward. You just have to kind of keep that in your mind and believe it. And no, there's a little bit of an adjustment, and there's always an adjustment when you get to a university. It's a new place. You're comfortable at Cerritos College. You have to learn the new policies and procedures and get a new support group. But, we know that our students do well once they transfer to university.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Nice to hear.
Yeah.
What would you consider to be the most crucial aspect of the transfer admissions process? What do you think it's more on the GPA, a well-rounded student, like essay?
It's a good question. I think it would, it depends on where you're applying to. So when it comes to the Cal States are really about what's on paper. What does your transcript say? Do you have the classes that you need? Have you done your math and English and critical thinking and oral communication course? Is your GPA as high as we can get it? Those are things that come into play when it comes to Cal States. When it comes to UCs, then of course you have the minimum requirements, but they're also going to take into consideration those other pieces that we talked about. The honors programs, being active in the campus community, extracurricular activities, and those kinds of things. I don't think, you have to have the major preparation. You have to have that, as strong a GPA as we can get you, but we still want that well-rounded piece of those other things. There's no one piece that's going to be like the make or break of admissions for the most part. When it comes to the UC campus, it's really looking at you holistically and what you're going to bring to the campus and how you're going to fit in with the philosophy of the campus. And the private schools are kind of a mix of the two. They're definitely going to look at, of course, your transcripts and your GPA, but also looking at your circumstances and what you're bringing to their institution. So I think there's a lot that goes with that. No one thing.
Okay, thank you.
I think the best thing is just to, making sure that you're prepared.
Right.
That you're taking what you need to take, that you're doing the best you can in all the classes that you're taking, that if certain situations come up, that you're reaching out for help if you need it, so that we can help guide you through the process.
Definitely. Does anyone else have any questions? You can type it through the chat or just unmute.
Oh yes, sir. There may be a chat question. Oh yes. Let me, while people are thinking about their questions, let me go over to our Transfer Center website. Ooh, is there a chat question? Are there application fee waivers for CSUs? Ooh, great question, Dora. Okay, so the application for both the UCs and the Cal States have a built-in fee waiver. Okay, so when you apply to the universities, some of the questions are related to, you know, what was the income of your family for last year? How many dependents that you have? Are you a California resident? Depending on how you answer those questions, that determines whether or not you get the fee waiver. Now the fee waiver doesn't show up as, you know, you getting it until you've actually applied. So you have to apply, complete the application. Before you submit it though, it's going to tell you, you know, you qualify for the fee waiver. And if you qualify, then that will cover 4 schools for free. So you can actually get 4 Cal States and 4 UCs for free if you have the fee waiver. Okay. Now, if something comes up and you're not eligible for the fee waiver, the Transfer Center does get some funding from student government, and then we use that to help reimburse at least 1 application, because we want every student to apply to at least 2 schools. So if you apply for 2 schools and you don't qualify for the fee waiver and you pay that money out of pocket, later on in the semester, probably around, I think it's late December, or I'm sorry, late November, early December, we'll put out a request that says, hey, send us your receipts and we will reimburse you for 1 of your applications. And we'll give you back that $70 applications, or $70 for that application fee. So there is a fee waiver built in up to, you know, 4 schools for both Cal States and UCs. Worst case, if you do have to pay, hopefully we can reimburse you for 1 of those applications through the Transfer Center and the student government, because they've given us funding for that. I hope that answers that question. On our website here, if you're towards like the beginning of your time here at Cerritos and you're just kind of getting started, there's a couple different things that you can do. We do have a listserv that you can join. Basically, the listserv just asks you very basic information about your student ID, name, and email, where you think you want to go and major. So we have an idea of if something comes up for scholarships and stuff like that, we'll send them to you. And then you just say, yes, I'm interested in whatever schools you're interested in. And if you say yes, then you're on a listserv for us. And if an event comes up that says, hey, Dominguez Hills is going to be here on Monday, and you're interested in Dominguez Hills, I'll send you an email that says, hey, you said you were interested in Dominguez Hills. They're going to be on campus on Monday if you'd like to make an appointment. So you can tell us which schools you're interested in, and that way we can send you information about when they're going to be on campus, and if there's special events that they're happening. We also have our Transfer Academy, which anybody can join, again, as long as you have an interest in transfer. You can click here to join now, and that allows you to be part of our Transfer Academy. And we have a Transfer Academy Canvas page and a series of different workshops that you can participate in and activities that you can do for the Transfer Academy. For those of you who are applying, you can go over here to our application workshops, and we have Cal States and UCs. The Common App is for the private schools. And so we have workshops available for overviews, virtual computer labs, if you're more, you know, like this virtual format. If you want in person, we have a computer lab that you can come into in person every week. We're having a session at varying days and times where you can sit down, work on your computer, work on your application, and get help from somebody, you know, counselors that are going to be walking around. So we have that available for Cal States and UCs. We also have drop-in available, again, specifically for application help. So we can review your application before you submit it so you don't make any mistakes, or that hopefully we can catch as many of the mistakes as possible before you submit your application. And then, of course, if you're not ready, we also have general workshops. So we have a ton of different things going on. Whether you're ready to transfer or not, we have things that are happening that you can take advantage of. And we'll have more every semester of different things that you can work on. So we have just a lot going on in the Transfer Center. It's always a great idea to connect either through the listserv or through our Instagram account, or just coming back to the website and checking out what's available that way. So I just wanted to put that out there for some of the stuff that's going on our website. If you want more information about the transfer guarantees, we also have that listed up here. So you can do more research into the different schools and what they require for a transfer guarantee. All right, so I'm going to open it back up for questions.
Yeah, I had a question.
Okay.
What priority do transfer students get in terms of acceptance?
When it comes to transferring, there's a different grouping. So the freshmen are one grouping and the transfer are a different grouping. So you're not competing with freshmen, and freshmen are not competing with transfer students, because freshmen are coming in as freshmen and you're going to be trying to get in as a junior, right? So you're not competing against each other. I will say that students who come from the community college have more priority over students who are coming from a four-year college, because they can technically get a bachelor's degree at their institution, where if you're coming from a community college, we know that you can't get your bachelor's degree from Cerritos. So the priority is definitely for the universities that, the students are transferring from community colleges. And I think the last time I went to a conference, they said 92% of the students who get admitted to the UCs as transfer students come from a California community college. So it is the majority of the students who get in are from California community colleges.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Carlos, do you have a question?
Yeah, you've mentioned tag.
Uh-huh.
I was wondering if you could give us information about TAP.
Oh. Now, as a TAP to a specific school, did you have in mind, or just TAP in general?
In general, from what I've read briefly, I know that there's a requirement to be in the honors program, I think, for
Okay.
Berkeley or LA. I forgot which one.
Good question. So there are multiple TAP pieces when it comes to the UC campus. There is a UC transfer admissions planner, which is called TAP, which is for all the schools. And you can actually do this from your first semester and enter in information so that the universities know that you're interested in them, and they'll contact you with events and happenings. And this information does move over into the TAG application and does move into the UC application. There is the UCLA TAP, and that program is giving students who complete 5 honors courses who are part of our honors program here at Cerritos College, they get priority admissions when it comes to UCLA, because there's no guarantee to UCLA. So the TAP program, which for UCLA requires as the honors program, gives you priority admissions into UCLA. And then for Berkeley, they also have a TAP program, but you are not required to be part of the honors program for that one. For the TAP program for UC Berkeley, it's more individualized assistance with a university representative who will help you along the way to make sure your classes are the right classes, that your application is as good as you can possibly get it. And so that one is for students who have a 3.0 or higher and are considered middle and low income students. But you would work with the university representative for that. And for Berkeley, again, you do not need to be honors. For UCLA, you do need to be honors. So different programs, they're all called TAP though, which could be confusing. Does that answer your question, Carlos?
Yeah, I didn't even know that they were like all different programs. I thought it was just one big like tag for
Right.
different schools.
Right, it gets kind of confusing. So they have the transfer planner, which goes into the tag, and then you have the UCLA TAP, which requires the honors program, and then UC Berkeley TAP, which does not require the honors program. But those are all partnerships that we have when it comes to UCLA and UC Berkeley.
And for those just starting out, how would one get into, say, the honors program? Is it automatic, or is it you have to go talk to a counselor?
So the honors program here at Cerritos College, you would go to this website here, which is just cerritos.edu/SHP for Scholars Honors Program. I'll put that in the chat for you in case you want it. Over here on the left-hand side, it shows this SHP application. Right now it is closed. They open at the beginning of each semester. You do want to do it relatively early because you want to have enough time to complete the 5 honors courses that are needed in order to be TAP certified for UCLA, if that's your goal. So the application is a Google form right now. I think it says that they're not accepting, but they will reopen in mid-January to mid-March to accept more students for the next semester. So that's definitely something that you can do. It's not an automatic admissions into that program. You want to make sure that you specify, where you want to transfer to. For GPA, you have to have a 3.0 or higher, either from high school or from college. You want to be in good standing here at Cerritos in order to join the honors program. And so that's what they're looking for that. And that's the SHP application on their website. And as part of that, there are transfer counselors, and I'm one of those transfer counselors for the Scholars Honors Program, along with pretty much all of our other transfer center counselors are all part of the transfer, are all part of the counselors for the Scholars Honors Program, I should say. So we mix pretty well with them.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that was really helpful.
Yeah, not a problem.
I have a question following up Carlos's question, if that's okay.
Sure.
You said that Berkeley for the TAP, it's like individualized mentoring or like assistance, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm in the Transfer Academy and I got the invitation for a starting point mentorship program.
Yes.
From Berkeley. Is that the same thing?
Great question. So the Starting Point mentoring program is actually connecting you with another student who's already at Berkeley.
Okay.
So the mentoring program is awesome because they're going to try to find you someone who's in your same major, but is currently at Berkeley. You can kind of talk to you about the experiences that they're having, the process that they went through, and those kinds of things, more of a peer mentoring program.
Mhm.
The UC Berkeley TAP program is specifically working with a university representative, not a student, who's then going to help you through that process of the application. And so for the TAP program for Berkeley, normally what ends up happening is you'd have to make an appointment with the rep. Right now, he had an appointment earlier in the semester in person. Most of the reps right now are still doing a lot of stuff virtual, so you'd have to click on the virtual and see when you can make your next appointment to meet for the TAP for Berkeley. But if you're already applying, it might be a little bit late. They really want you to try to join the Berkeley TAP earlier if you can.
Okay. Thank you. Does like UCLA CCP and starting point mentorship program, does that also kind of higher your chances of admission since it's within the college, these programs?
So it definitely can allow you to add to your experiences. It's something you can add on your application under activities or extracurricular activities that you've done. It could be added as part of your personal insight questions and talking about why you've chosen to transfer to a UC school, because you've now had these experiences with the mentoring program, with the partnerships that they have available. So it shows your commitment to wanting to get to the institution. So yes, I would say a lot of times that would allow you to also have better opportunities to get into these schools as well, because you're getting that information. That's the point of those programs, is to provide you with the information to do well on your application for the purposes of admissions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brittany. I know that you have to run, but we really appreciate you taking the time to share all this information with us.
Not a problem. And I apologize, it was a little rushed at some parts, but if you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Again, I'll just, you can get me through the Instagram if you want, or you can, email the transfer center. Oops. I'm gonna put that in the chat really quick. In the Instagram, Cerritos. Oops. I can spell really. So Cerritos Transfer Center and so on. So definitely reach out if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. Know that we are definitely here for you in the Transfer Center, and we hope that we can help you along the way.
Thank you so much, Brittany.
Thank you.
Have
Sorry
a
about
great
running.
No worries. Now with the last few minutes of the meeting, I would like to introduce everybody to Sarah Chavez, who is your success coach for the social sciences learning career pathways. So welcome to the meeting, Sarah.
Thank you, Joy, and thank you for having me today. I appreciate your time. Sorry that my voice is a little off. I've been out sick, but I just wanted to take the time to introduce myself as your success coach based on your major. So if your major is sociology, which is the event is for today, is making sure that you're aware that I'm here to support you on campus with whatever it is in regards to Cerritos College. So anything and everything Cerritos College is what I'm here to help you with and support you with. Brittany did an awesome job of telling you what the Transfer Center offers and the transfer opportunities opportunities and options. So please stay informed with that. But I also do want to let you know that as your success coach, if there's something that maybe you're lacking or you're in search of, like tutoring or support services, or maybe you're just experiencing food and housing insecurities, and you really need to kind of check in with someone and see who you can speak to, how we can help you, or maybe you need to speak to a counselor and you haven't been able to. That's my job. So I'm here to support you with that. We do have about 15 different majors that fall under the LCP, which is the Learning Career Pathway. So you are all part of the SBS LCP, which is Social Behavioral Sciences Learning Career Pathway. I'm going to go ahead and add in the chat my flyer with my contact information. Sometimes I tell students, you may not know what you need help with, but you know you need something. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm available via email, via phone, via person. You can come in. I'm in the counseling department Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4:30. And on Friday, I'm in the conference center here on campus by the gym. So I do have an open door policy. Again, please don't ever shy away from asking for help. If there's someone you should ask for help, that's me. I'm your success coach, and I'm here to help you and support you along your journey. And I'm happy to hear that maybe some of you guys are ready to transfer. So congratulations. Get ready for what's to come and be excited about that. But again, I am your success coach. My name is Sarah. And if you need anything, please do feel free to reach out. I am going to drop 2 flyers onto the chat. One of them is my personal flyer with my information and a QR code for you to learn more about the LCP. I'm also going to be putting a flyer about the drop-in hours for counseling for specific counselors for our majors, meaning the major you're in, so that you don't have to go to virtual drop-in and speak to a counselor that's not a counselor for your major. So you are able to know when and who is available for your major on the virtual drop-in hours. So once again, thank you for your time. Again, I'm here to support you. Please help me help you so that I can service you whenever you need something. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sarah. So
Thank you.
definitely, you guys, there are tons of resources that our campus has to offer, and Sarah's going to be that conduit to connect you to all of those. So, like she said, I just want to reiterate, like, you don't know what you need sometimes, or you don't know even what's available. So feel free to connect with Sarah, share your situation with her, and she can let you know about things that you may not even be aware of. It's really incredible, all the services that we offer on this campus. So we want to make sure that all students can take advantage of that. So hopefully this has been, a good meeting for everybody. Definitely make an appointment with the transfer counselor, make an appointment with Sarah, right? I'm also available to you as a resource, of course, as always. Were there any, questions that anyone had for Sarah or for myself?
Joy, is it okay if I give a quick reminder? So I know some of you guys are transferring, but then there's some that are still taking some classes here in the spring. Please make sure that you're aware that next week, spring registration begins. So number one, you want to know when your registration is. Your date is already posted on your My Cerritos portal in the Student Center. On the right-hand side, it should say enrollment date. And also, if you have not connected with the counselor to determine what to register into for the spring, I did drop the flyer for the VCD hours. Go ahead and come on by. Our hours are done for today, but on Monday, they do resume at 10 a.m. You don't want to miss out on registering for classes you still need. And if spring's going to be your last semester, there is a form through admissions and records. And I hear that a lot of students will say, well, I couldn't get into those 2 classes. Now I have to stay 1 more semester. Admissions and records does have a form that if you have 2 classes that are your last classes, you need to be proactive and complete the form and submit it so that you are guaranteed a spot in that classroom. Okay. I hear it time after time that students are unable to transfer because they didn't know about the form and they weren't able to register into the 1 last class they needed to graduate or transfer. So take advantage of that. Reach out to me, and I did put the flyers there. I'll go ahead and look for the form right now, Anna, and I'll add it in the chat as well.
Awesome. Anyone else have other questions about services that are offered or anything else? Well, we have Sarah here. I don't know. I know that you are really heavily involved with Puente as well. I don't know if you wanted to give a plug.
Yes. So I am wearing my Puente shirt. I am not only the success coach for the social and behavioral sciences, which is sociology falls under the LCP, but I'm also the success coach for the Puente program and the Emoja program. The Puente program is a program for students that are or identify as Hispanic or Latino or Mexican. And we have a classroom cohort, which is a 1-year commitment. And then you're in the English 100 for fall, you're in the English 103 for spring. And it's a community that assists students with early enrollment, cultural events, university tours, books and supplies that they are taking for the classes for their Puente classes. Today alone, we did have a Puente mentor training, and we also had UC Davis and UC Santa Cruz come on out to present to our students. So it's a great opportunity. If you're interested and want to know more, please let me know. Then we also have the Emoja Success Program, and the Emoja Success Program is a program for students who are or identify as African American or Black, and they do have a classroom component as well as Puente, but what the difference is with Emoja is you don't have to have taken those classes or be taking those classes. You can actually be part of the Emoja community and still take advantage of the early enrollment, books and supplies, backpacks, cultural events. They have a brother to brother, sister to sister. We're going to be preparing for a Pan-African Thanksgiving. So there's a lot of great things happening here on campus. So it's really important that you stay committed. Yet just alone this week, Wednesday, I was watching the news in the morning and they said, you know, a lot of students are dropping out. We don't want you to be that student to drop out. But the one thing they said that keeps students from dropping out is building a sense of community. And that's exactly my goal, right? That's exactly Cerrito's goal, because we want to make sure that you know that whatever it is that we can do to assist you and support you to be successful, we want to do for you. We know that life is not just one person that comes to school and is a student and that's your 24-hour commitment, right? We know your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your children. You're doing so much and carrying so much on your shoulders, but it's okay to not be okay and ask for help. Again, there's a Falcon's Nest. I don't know if you guys know about Falcon's Nest, where you can get free groceries, you can get hygiene kits. They also have a financial assistance application. They have gas cards. How many of you could use a gas card because you live a little far and it's expensive, right? They have laundry cards. If you live in the area and need a laundry cards, they have an agreement with the laundry here, Matt, in Norwalk, close to the campus. Those are things that you can get for free. I know one thing I hear is students say, well, I don't want to take away from other students. We have enough to help as many students as we can. So please don't ever hold back. We appreciate the fact that you're thinking that way, but if you need the help, and all you need to do is give your student number to get access to some of these support services, do so. And again, finals are going to be coming up soon, and you're probably working on midterms or final presentations for certain classes. We have the Student Success Center. The Student Success Center is free of charge for you. They have different tutoring opportunities for English, reading, math. There's chemistry. There's a lot of different subject matters that people don't realize that there's tutoring for. So please make sure you take advantage of that. If you don't know about it, come and ask me. If there's something that you've been wondering this whole time about Cerritos College, please come ask me. If you're use the bus for transportation, we have the Go Pass now. So again, that's something that you could take advantage of as a student. We also are going to start to have more community events on campus. One that's coming up rather soon is going to be on November 1st for Dia de los Muertos. We're wrapping up Hispanic Heritage Month. So again, it's going to be on November 1st from 11 to 12:30. We're going to have some altars honoring and remembering those that we've lost. And we're also going to have a craft that you can do for free. We're going to be having some pan dulce and some champurrado. So again, if you don't know something, it's okay not to know, but let me help you become aware of it. And let's make sure that we are, ensuring your success here and when you move forward. So again, it's about committing to your success. And we appreciate that you're present in the moment, because this is all about you. It's your experience. And again, don't compare yourself to someone else or someone's doing something faster. The right time is your time. So you're here is because it matters to you. So please check in, and please don't let me sit alone by my desk. Sometimes come on in and ask questions. Again, just checking at the front desk in the counseling department. Say, I'm here to talk to Sarah. And if I'm available, I will most definitely take you in. Don't go with an answered question. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. You
Thank
guys
you.
are really, really lucky to have her. She's This is a new position, by the way, right? We didn't used to have this kind of support for students. So please take advantage. So, I think with that, that's probably the big takeaway from today's meeting is ask for help, ask all the questions, right? Even if you don't know exactly what you're asking for, put yourself out there so that we can provide you with the supports that you need. And she's just dropped in the chat that last class request form. So if you just have a couple classes left that you need to transfer, you can get priority from admissions, which is also really amazing. One other thought I'd like to leave you with, is that I know that this is hard. I know a lot of us work. We have all these responsibilities. I know that I work 2 part-time jobs to get myself through school. And so I know the grind, and I just want to encourage everyone to remember your why, right? Why are you doing this? What is the bigger picture? What do you envision for yourself, for your family, the impact that you want to have on the world? Know that every little step that you're taking is getting you closer to that. So even if you're struggling in a stats class, right, or whatever it may be, just remember your why and remain persistent and ask for help above all else. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining today. We will have our next meeting in 2 weeks. So we meet every other Friday. Look out for announcements. We'll be sending the flyer out to your instructors again. You can also follow the Sociology Club on the Instagram page. Johnny, you want to drop the Instagram in the chat for people to follow. And I'll also drop my email in there in case anyone wants to reach out with questions. So wishing everyone a really great weekend. Everybody take care. If anyone has anything else that you'd like to chat about, you can stick around, but I'm going to end the recording now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Everybody, thank you.